Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Based on the discussion we had earlier, you mentioned that 36 out of 1,900 Afghan trainees who are being trained here in the United States, that 36 of them have claimed asylum. Are we still paying those individuals who have no intent to return to Afghanistan?
Ranking Member, Hice, I can't tell you for sure because the data we got from DHS, Department of Homeland Security, was so inadequate we couldn't tell. But in all likelihood, they are. And if I could say, sir, we invoked your name to finally get that information from the Department of Homeland Security. So we mentioned, and we had been waiting for over 9 months to get the data. The data we got is totally inadequate, but it does indicate that some of the people we have brought over to train them to fly helicopters, et cetera, have asked for asylum. And in all likelihood, we still are paying for them to be trained here.
Do we have any idea, do you have any idea how much it costs to train one of these individuals?
I do not have that specific
Is there any
number.
way to get that information?
Well, the difficulty is each training program costs separately, and since DHS won't identify the individuals, it's hard for us to say, is he in the mechanics program, was he in the air program, is he a C-130 pilot, et cetera. So that's the problem.
I think this is a lot of the accountability that we need for us to do oversight. I mean, are these people getting paid? How much are they getting paid? If there's any way to get that information. Also, in addition to those who are over here, 36 who have claimed asylum, there is quite a number who have gone AWOL once they've gotten over here, and we've discussed this before. 83 of them are still missing somewhere, who knows where. Do we have evidence that Afghan forces are still going AWOL and disappearing somewhere in the United States?
That is our best information, sir, but we don't have any more up-to-date information. And
it's our best information that it is still happening?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I find that amazing that we are continuing a program that has a much larger percentage of people going AWOL, and we've got to get to the bottom of this. I thank you for invoking my name today. We're going to continue pushing on this issue. Let me hit a couple of other things real quickly. You mentioned that we've had 2,400 military deaths, but that does not include contractors and civilian deaths. Do you have any idea how many of those deaths we've seen?
Yes, we do, and I'm glad you highlight that point because I think we tend to forget the U.S. contractors and how many casualties they have because they are important parts of the team. Our best estimate is over 4,000 U.S. contractors have died in Afghanistan.
So we had 2,400 military and 4,000 plus contractors and civilian.
That is correct. In addition, we know a minimum of 14 U.S. government civilian personnel. And if you go to Afghanistan, and I know you've been there, sir, and I know Chairman Lynch, right in front of our embassy are 14 plaques.
Right.
Now, they list the U.S. civilian government employees, but not all by name, but there are quite a few. And I mean, this goes back to our former ambassador who was assassinated there. Excuse me.
Thank you. Okay, you mentioned in the high-risk list, and this really concerns me. I wish we had more than 5 minutes with all this stuff, but we've got approximately 60,000 Taliban fighters who need to be reintegrated back in Afghan society. I find this far-fetched. I can't wrap my head around it, how this is even possible. Do you have a comment on that?
Well, we highlight it as a risk. I mean, you're absolutely correct. We got approximately 60,000 trained killers. They're Taliban. They've been doing this for years. You got them and their family. Now, if for peace to, and we all want peace to occur, but for peace to occur, every expert, and we're actually doing a larger lessons learned study like these we've already done on other issues on reintegration. It's extremely difficult. It has to be done. So how are you going to reintegrate 60,000 trained killers into an Afghan economy that can't even support the thousands of young men and women in Afghanistan who are coming of age because of the economy. So it's difficult. We're not saying it's impossible, and again, this is a policy decision. That's not my job. We're just highlighting for you, when you think of appropriations, when you think of oversight, think in terms of, and when somebody comes up here to testify about the peace deal, what are you doing about reintegration? Because if you don't reintegrate, and they don't get jobs, if they don't get their land or whatever, you're going to have some angry, highly trained people who would love to destroy the peace deal.
I share your concern. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.